What's good, everybody? It's BBKDRAGOON here, coming at you today with a PvP feedback video. I've been holding off my thoughts and impressions on Destiny 2 PvP at least until I had enough games to sort of feel like I've gotten my feet under me. I've put in about 100 matches now between quick play trials and competitive, and there's a lot I really like about Destiny 2 PvP. There's also quite a few things that really baffle me. I don't understand why Bungie omitted them or why they don't even exist in the first place in this game. So I really want to talk about this. I hope this comes out as a video that showcases I like Destiny 2 PvP a lot, and in many ways I like it more than Destiny 1 PvP. I think it took a lot of steps forward, but at the same time took some steps backwards. So I want to hit on the first, the things that I like. The gunplay feels a whole lot better in my opinion. In general, they've made virtually every weapon class very viable. I want to just hit on one thing really quickly, as everybody's sort of fighting to say, yo, we need to nerf the Mida. Mida's so good, so stinking popular. I really want to encourage a different line of thinking of we need to buff other things instead of nerfing things. Destiny 1's PvP balance was completely ruined because of the amount of nerfs. Every single patch, there will be popular weapons. Every single patch. That is how this game will work. And if every patch, the popular weapon the community raises up, we need to nerf this, and they do it, the game turns into Destiny 1, where it's ability spam, and the only reliable way of killing is your really strong abilities that they hadn't really touched. That angers me so much. Like right now, yes, Mida is strong, but so are autos. I mean, Uriel's, Prosecutor, Origin Story, fantastic weapons. What I would rather hear people saying is, man, hand cannons could really use a little bit of a buff right now. So could pulse rifles, because those are being very underutilized and they just don't seem up to snuff in their optimal damage ranges with weapons like auto rifles. So I think weapon balance right now is actually pretty good. I would like to see, though, those two changes. A little buff to hand cannons and a little buff to the pulse rifles, as I don't feel like they're going to get a whole lot of use, especially in their optimal ranges right now. The other thing I want to mention is I think they did a really good job with map design. Aside from maybe one or two maps, which are duds, the map design is far and away objectively better than Destiny 1 map design, and I'm really, really pleased with that. The sight lines are much improved. The lanings, like they've found a nice set of ways of balancing different game types on certain maps. Like Javelin 4, I think, works fairly well for both Clash and Control. So let's move into then, I guess, my biggest concerns. Where's Rumble? This is one of those almost inexcusable things where I don't have a clue why they did not include Rumble in this game. Maybe they didn't want to take the time to balance the spawns or balance where power ammo is going to spawn. It just makes no sense to me. This is a very team-reliant game. And the 4v4, I think, benefits that, and the map design. Like, it feels good. However, as a solo player, it can be taxing at times, okay? Depending on how, where you're at on the skill-based matchmaking bell curve, can drastically change your experience. 1 in 4 matches, especially when I'm solo queuing, I'll run into a team of 3 or 4 as a solo queue player. Now, I don't really mind it that much. I see it usually as a challenge, like, can we overcome this? But I do wish more often, if you're a solo player, the game would prioritize matching you with solo players instead of only looking at the SBMM value and going, well, we need to weight you with this team of 4 in order for it to balance out. That's really a frustrating experience for most solo players, to match against teams of 3 and 4. And I've been on the flip side of that as well, where I've been in a team of 3 and 4 and we're matching solo players. And that just doesn't feel that good. Like, if I'm in a team of 4, I'd happily match teams of 3 and 4. I want to have harder matches because I can communicate and work with my teammates. So the fact that Rumble is not included just blows my mind. And please add it soon, because it would be an awesome game type. First of all, I would grind it super hard because it's just perfect for developing skills as a solo player. And it's way less frustrating than the team environment when you're like, look, I can't overcome in a solo queue environment a good team of 3 and 4. I can play my best, we can try and capitalize here and there, but if they're communicating and coordinating their pushes well, of course they're gonna win. The other thing that I think is just mind-blowing is, where are private matches? You have the technology. Why was it not included in Destiny 2? It is a really, I don't want to sound crass, but it is sort of a big middle finger towards the budding competitive community. And whether or not that you think Destiny 2 should be competitive or support that doesn't matter. there is a group of players who really like this game and want to push it in the competitive space and would love to see tournaments become a thing, like an actual really big deal thing, and you can't do that without private matches. Okay, the whole matchmaking where you try and search together at the same time and match one another is just ludicrous in 2017. And they have the tech. That's what blows me away. Like, in Destiny 1, you have the private match tech. Why was it not thrown into Destiny 2? It's so rare in, like, 2017 to have a shooter that releases that doesn't have custom games or a private match system. My only thought process is they didn't include it because they didn't want players during the first week being able to map out all the damage values, look at all the abilities in detail, and really break down the core of PvP. I, doing weapon reviews, would freaking love private matches. There's so many scenarios I could set up to show you guys. Look, this is where the damage fall off begins for this weapon. This is how many bursts it takes. This is how much damage it does in conjunction with like arc soul firing at the same time that you just can't do. So I really think that they just didn't want people, quote unquote, it's not really data mining, but going super deep dive into all the damage values and then being very critical about it within the earlier weeks of the game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Maybe it's a total conspiracy theory, but please, private matches, make your return and make it quick. I see no excuses for that one. I think the Clash and Control game type work great, especially the new Control. New Control is pretty darn good. It forces a lot of map movement, but it definitely rewards the team that slays well, which I like quite a bit. The one game mode that just, Supremacy. I do not think Supremacy has a place in 4v4 Destiny 2 unless they start making some serious tweaks. In Destiny 1, 6v6 Supremacy made a lot of sense because 6v6 really supported a more solo environment. And if you look at the game type itself, it's kill confirmed from Call of Duty, and it was a great way to basically make the TDM game type more mobile, to get people out of positions and force them to move around the map and avoid the camping type of thing. And in Destiny 1, the maps were bigger, and if you scored a kill, there were a lot more situations in Destiny 1 where you scored the kill, you could run over and pick up the crest. Whereas in Destiny 2, if you're actually playing high-level people, you work together as a team. And so it really turns into, if you get a team wipe, you go get their crests. And if they get a team wipe, they get your crests. It doesn't turn into the, hey, I ran into a player over here in the back alleyway, we had a duel, and I picked up his crest. If you're against good teams, they're working together continually. And whatever the score timer is, it's almost like they didn't play test Supremacy, because I've never had a single Supremacy match actually get close to the score limit. It always just runs the timer down. So that's a sort of a side thing here. More on the game types themselves. Let's talk about map vetoing. I don't necessarily mind the quick play and competitive distinction. I know some players don't like it. They want to be able to choose, I want to go play Control right now, or I want to go play that. I kind of like that you congregate a bigger population into those pools so you can find matches faster, better connections, and the skill-based matchmaking system can work its magic a little bit better because there's more players to choose from. However, I played 50 games of quick play before I even got to try one of the EDZ matches. I literally played a PvP match on a map I had never played after 50 games. I cannot tell you how many times Legion's Gulch comes up after, like, all the time, like, in so many, like, little loops of playing the same map 6 or 7 times in a row. Please implement a map and game type veto system like Halo 3. Notice I didn't say map voting, because I know that triggers a ton of people who are like, I hate playing stinking BR Guardians all the time. So, map veto, like Halo 3 was, in which, oh, you don't like this map and game type? Press X, and if the majority of the team votes against it, we'll swap it to a different random map and game type. Please do this. Please do this so you don't have to sit there playing Supremacy over and over again, which is like the weakest game type right now. I don't know if you even have the tech to do it, but I would greatly appreciate it because there's some cool maps. Emperor's Respite, the new like raid PvP map, is freaking cool, yet I've played it once. And I've played probably 30 games since it came out. So, Destiny 2 forces teams to split up after the matches. Just sort of a nitpicky thing, but if you run into a really tough match and you liked the team that you were versing, I want to go back and fight against them. I want to give it another shot. Give me that opportunity to do so, just like in Halo, where you can sit in that lobby and match each other. That can be great training if you found a really good team that will bring you guys close matches. For a lot of players, that's what's really fun. I think in the gunfights, the flinch value in general is just too high, especially if you're getting cross-shotted. If you're getting shot by 2 players at once, it pretty much makes the duel that you're in invalid. And I understand if it's 2v1, you should lose most of the time. I totally get it, but I would much rather the flinch value be a heck of a lot less than it is, so we could just have our gunfights instead of trying to battle this really weird mechanic that I don't even think has that big of a place in Destiny. Maybe a topic for another time. It's probably very controversial, I know, but I'd love to actually hear what you think about the flinch values down in the description, or in the comments, excuse me. Ranked. Why no ranked? If you're gonna put all the structures in place for a competitive game, which you guys really have emphasized a heck of a lot more, this is not casual big party game. Destiny 1 in a lot of ways, the 6v6, like, way more casual feeling because you could just solo queue, I think, a lot easier in Destiny 1 and have a pretty good time. They have made all sorts of design changes to make it a more balanced team game. And to not have ranks is just very disappointing to me. It has a ton of replay value. A ton of replay value for the people who invest their time into PvP. And you have all the structures there that you need. You invented a brilliant ranking system back in the Halo days, but it's been omitted. So I don't need to harp this one that much. I think you guys would probably agree with me. Why there is no ranks, I don't know. I really don't know. And that plays into the final thing, and sort of my biggest concern here is the rewards and the progression for PvP are very, very weak. You guys have seasons now built into the game. Where are leaderboards? Where are rewards based upon PvP progression? Where are rewards based upon how well you play? I think the addition of the emblems that show your KDA and your win-loss, like, or not win-loss, but how many times, you know, you've been flawless, how many trials games you've won, that's a cool idea. However, that shouldn't be tied to an emblem. That should just be a feature of the game. You should be able to inspect your stats. Put that stat on any emblem you want, so you don't have to run the little red KDA emblem. Like, it's just, in an ideal world for me with PvP, I would love there to be a ranked playlist. And if you get into, let's say, like, okay, 1 to 50 system, you get to level 45 or and above, you're going to get access to a really cool shader, or maybe a sweet sparrow, or a great piece of armor. Maybe it's these Titan shoulders that have this extra flare. That is something people would work for. And just like in, you know, Halo 5, when you finish a ranked season, you get the emblem. That's sort of cool. It's this memory that you participated. And we have seasons. There's just the rewards for PvP are extraordinarily average. There is no real XP system that you push further forward with. Halo 3's XP system was brilliant. It wasn't that complicated, but it did allow some prestige when you looked at players who are like, wow, you have killed it. Look at that 5-star. That is unbelievable, man. There's this level of respect to it, and it definitely gives players some long-term carrots to go after. Those are my main issues with Destiny 2 PvP. And I want to wrap the bow of this conversation up by saying I am really actually pretty darn happy with Destiny 2 PvP. I'm enjoying it more than Destiny 1 PvP in quite a few ways. It, to me, I know a lot of people aren't super stoked on how team shot heavy it is. I actually like that because it reminds me a heck of a lot more. Back in Halo 4, CSR 50 and Team Slayer, that was my jam, man. 2 accounts, both before and after the CSR reset. That was super fun, grinding the character up to 50 and then playing matches at 50 because it was very, very teamwork oriented. You had to utilize the team shot. If you were out of position, you were punished super heavily for it. So I like that aspect. And I think with Destiny 2, they've done a much better job making it so players with good gun skill, good positioning, and good decision making will excel. That's awesome. Now, just bring the rest of the functions that surround PvP up to the level that Bungie is more than capable of. You guys are the folks who revolutionized PvP back in Halo 2 and Halo 3. You guys totally wrote the playbook for this. So why are you stripping away all these awesome things that would just improve the picture? Anyway, that's what I have to say. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Keep it civil, keep it nice, keep it constructive, because that's how we get anywhere. Constructive criticism, not angry, toxic vitriol. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs it up, subscribe for more Destiny 2. I'll be back with an aiming and accuracy tips video next, I believe, and that shouldn't be too far away. Thanks and have a good day.